So let me get this straight. The so-called Maui massacre is just getting worse. People are scared that they're getting evicted out of their land, their home, and also getting relocated by local officials. We're hearing about Maui residents who still have homes but are actually getting kicked out of them. And on top of it all, President Joe Biden writes them a measly $700 check for all their troubles. Seriously? I mean, like, what happened to all that Ukraine money?
The actual mitigation that's being offered by the government here is specifically being criticized by a number of people. The administration announced that they were going to be paying $700 per affected household, a number that, in light of recent stimulus checks and I think in light of other kinds of disaster relief, and particularly in light of the funds that are being sent to Ukraine, many are balking at. Senator Nina Turner from Ohio tweeted simply 700 with an exclamation mark and a question mark. A Politico story pointed out that Biden is seeking $40 billion in emergency relief for Ukraine, and people are making that comparison, pointing out that the Maui population is 165,386 people. Okay, fewer than 170,000 people. If every single person somehow qualified and managed to register for this one-time payment of $700, that's only $115,770,900. So that's 0.0029% of the latest amount that Biden is trying to send to Ukraine right now.
Did you guys hear that? 0.0029 of the $40 billion for Ukraine. Now, at this point, I'm not at all surprised that everything coming out about this tragedy points to a land grab. Dozens of stories all pointing to a land grab, and not a single one pointing otherwise. The state of Hawaii needs to step in and stop any land transfer for a period of time to prevent real estate vultures from just swooping in. You know what I mean? My friends tell me it's time that we all file exempt on our taxes and defund the government. What do you guys think? Now, last I heard, officials have confirmed at least 111 deaths. Maui residents definitely don't feel safe with the government, especially since nobody really knows what the heck is happening. Everybody's just afraid that the state government, they could just make a proclamation saying that the land is uninhabitable. The state will take it over. Kind of like a eminent domain, if you will. Sorry, you do not get to pass go. You do not collect your $200. We'll put you guys somewhere else on Maui. Plus the concern over possible land grabs by investors or real estate agents. Locals in Lahaina could sell to the first person that offers them cash. Then it's just a ripple effect. Just this weekend, the organization that seeks to preserve land and native species in Hawaii, Kaku Halika, shared a video on Instagram claiming that investors and realtors have been attempting to contact Maui residents to purchase their land. Wow, some parts are still smoking at this point. They were just waiting for this to happen, weren't they? Investors and real estate agents, realtors, calling the families who lost their home, offering to buy their land. I mean, how dare you do that to their community right now? Definitely get the word out, guys. And if you're a victim or you know someone who is a victim and these real estate investors and realtors are calling you, please get their name and get their business name so we can put them on blast. Now, I also definitely recommend subscribing to the channel and also hitting that notification bell. That way you can help us stay on the lookout for more updates on this and other important US news. And hey, if you guys appreciate the content and the work that goes into this, please give this video a like. I totally appreciate that. You will definitely help the channel out and get this message out to more people who need to hear about it. I appreciate you guys a lot for that. So Hawaii Governor Josh Green, he said that he was speaking with the Hawaii Attorney General to discuss options involving a moratorium on land sales. He cautioned people that it's going to be a very long time before any growth or housing can be built. And so you will be pretty poorly informed if you try to steal land from our people and then build here. But I don't know, guys. If you're talking about the likes of Mark Zuckerberg or maybe Oprah Winfrey, these are people with very deep pockets and they can wait. Basically, they can afford to wait it out and cash in on their potential Maui investment down the line. These people wouldn't be afraid of stealing the land and waiting a little bit, you know what I mean? That's probably why Hawaii Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs issued a warning to all Maui homeowners, calling on them to report any unsolicited offers to sell their land. They mentioned homeowners impacted by the Maui wildfires facing uncertain financial circumstances related to their properties. And that financial pressure may actually prompt predatory buyers to capitalize upon the fear of foreclosure or maybe even the cost of rebuilding to induce owners to sell their properties at below market prices. They're not really banning people from selling their properties. What they're concerned about are those unsolicited offers from buyers that may result in owners receiving less than they would otherwise deserve. I mean, it's just scary to think that you can't even catch your breath after such a tragedy before you have to worry about predatory land grabbers, you know what I mean? Not to mention, it's hard to fully believe information from the government, especially since those people are fearing for the worst when it comes to issues involving possible relocation and land grabs. And it doesn't help that there is a general distrust in the government. Maui residents feel as if they left it to their local government entity, the rebuild is going to be incredibly slow. And what they're really hoping and praying for at this point is that their leadership will be transparent, keep them in the loop, and really, just kind of start to take ownership of what they really could have done to prevent this and save more lives. I think I somehow get where they're coming from. There's a lot of questions for investigation. Why the island's siren system wasn't used to cue evacuations, how water lines ran dry in fighting the fire, and whether the White House was quick enough in deploying federal help. Then, of course, you have President Biden. Good old Biden giving the people of Hawaii just enough for a one-way ticket to the mainland. Now, of course, I'm talking about the $700 that the Biden administration's offering per household as emergency aid. One word critics said to describe it: insulting. And yeah, after his no comment, that came with an awkward smile. President Biden is again facing renewed criticism for his response to the devastating wildfires on the Hawaiian island of Maui after offering victims $700 per household in emergency aid. Political opponents and commentators described the sum as insulting and compared it with the more than $113 billion worth of aid, U.S. aid, mind you, that has been sent to the Ukraine as it defends itself against an ongoing Russian invasion. Just recently, the government announced that it was sending $200 million in defense capabilities. President Biden spent the weekend at his Delaware beach house. Must be nice. By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below of this video. It only takes about 10 seconds. Now, this is after President Biden faced backlash over what some saw as a dismissive response to the death toll on Maui, pretty much just brushing off questions about the disaster. Now, after the first fatalities were announced last week, Biden expressed his deepest condolences to the families of those who had died in a statement. He added that he was grateful to the brave firefighters and the first responders who continue to run toward danger, putting themselves in harm's way to save lives. The following day, he declared a federal disaster in Hawaii, making federal funding available to individuals affected by the fires for things such as temporary housing and loans to cover uninsured losses. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said that they had the support from every level of government, especially given President Biden's approval of their disaster declaration request. Now, this is the tweet that Biden got flack for. We're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time. We have staff on the ground dedicated to helping survivors navigate the registration process. Critics quickly pointed out that this $700 per household was nowhere near enough, especially considering that we're spending about $900 per household to fund the proxy war in Ukraine. Just to bring home the numbers here, there are around 124 million households in America, meaning the total aid given to the Ukraine will be the equivalent of $911 per U.S. household, though only $46 billion or $370 per U.S. household of the funds sent to the Ukraine were for purposes other than defense. Plus, Lahaina was not only the region of Maui to fall victim to the wildfires, and so it's not really clear how many households will actually be eligible for the payment. So now people are calling out President Biden and saying that we need an American first president. Financial commentators got in on the action too. They're asking how our government can send hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries but choose to pinch pennies when our own people here at home need. They broke down the numbers here as well. It says 99 confirmed dead, but we know that number is up to 111 now and probably still rising. Over 1,000 still missing. Thousands of homes and businesses destroyed. Approximately $6 billion in damages. An entire town on U.S. soil has been destroyed overnight. And the best our government can do is $700? The Hawaii Community Foundation, one of several charities that have launched recovery campaigns, said it had received more than $27 million in individual donations as their last count. Did you hear about the Maui emergency chief that just resigned? This is after he defended his choice to not activate the island-wide alarm system as devastating wildfires ripped across the island. Chief Herman Andea handed in his resignation, citing health reasons, according to Mayor Richard Benson. And his resignation is immediate, meaning the top spot for the emergency department will be vacant as the island is still having to deal with the aftermath of the inferno that killed at least 111 people. And Dea didn't back down when one reporter insinuated that the system could have saved hundreds of lives. His reasoning? The sirens are typically reserved for tsunami warnings, and that Hawaiians are trained to seek higher ground when they are set off. So basically that would have meant that people would have gone to the mountains and into danger. Sounds simple enough, but when I did a little bit of digging, it turns out that Hawaii's official government website lists wildfires as one of the disasters that the all hazard could have been used for. So I beg to differ on his statement. And Dea also defended his professional record and told reporters that he was thoroughly vetted and heavily trained before taking the lead role back in 2017. But he doesn't actually have any direct experience in emergency management other than coordinating with the agency during his tenure in the housing department and as a staffer in the mayor's cabinet. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it up to you guys to be the judge, I guess. But according to an ex-FEMA chief, President Biden's response to the whole Maui wildfire crisis is an abject failure. Former Federal Emergency Management Agency Administrator Michael Brown, who helped lead the then President George W. Bush's response to Hurricane Katrina back in 2005, said, "At this juncture, Biden should skip Maui and go straight to Oahu." Now, first, there was President Biden saying no comment, then smiling when he was first asked about the Maui wildfires. What he's worried about is Biden visiting Maui and causing problems with disaster response and coordination, given that the United States Secret Service will have to put in an air cap over Maui. And so that's why he recommended Biden just get his photo op with Hawaii Governor Green and then stay his butt away from the disaster zone to let FEMA be able to do their job without limitations. Brown also made a comment about the one official who delayed the release of the water supply to the firefighters. He suggested the desalination plant at Pearl Harbor, Oahu, it could be moved to Maui, which would be able to produce potable water within a few days. I mean, we're just talking about releasing water for firefighters during a wildfire, and you have this official talking about equity? I mean, come on guys, right? Sometimes it feels like the whole thing is just such a mess. You guys know what I mean, right? If you made it this far in the video, please drop a like for the video. Also consider subscribing. Check out my previous videos, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.